me, Deja B, and I'm back at it again with another video. Today, I'm going to be doing a parte dos, to why your hair isn't growing. It has been a long time coming, I know. Yeah, I put that video out back when I still had colored hair, like a significant amount. So that was last year, and it's been long enough, and I'm here to tell you that the wait is finally over. Okay, so I'm not going to talk to you much about the first video. If you're new here, welcome. But if you want to see the initial video, just basically it covers a lot of the basics, a lot of things that people talk about, but now I'm just going to get a little bit deeper, you know. Cutting, it's not a paper cut no more, it's a gash. Okay. What is wrong with me? Anyway, so yeah, and this is less of a why your hair isn't growing and more of a why you might not be retaining length, because unless you have some sort of scalp condition, your hair is gonna grow. Now there's another reason why your hair might not grow that I'll get into a little bit later, but other than that, for the most part, your hair is always growing. So the end game is to maintain length. And if you don't know how to retain length, if you don't know nothing about length retention, then I'm here for you, boo. Okay, so first, in the original video I talked about like how important it is to have moisturizing products, use protein, all of that, but it's also important not to use too many different types of products. Now when you, and I say that because you want to make sure you have a natural hair care routine. Now that's okay if you use different products and still maintain that routine, but if you're like a product junkie like how I've definitely slowed down and still have a lot of products, but I don't purchase as many products as I used to, and a lot of us do go through that product junkie phase. So I ain't throwing no shade because I really did hit it too hard at one point. But when you're testing and trying out all of these different products, I'm pretty sure it probably causes stress on your hair, and stress should never be a part of your routine. When you are doing your hair, you want your hair to be relaxed, honey, okay? The only one who should be stressing is you. You, and not even really that. You definitely want to make sure you have a steady routine and you are not trying different products every week, because that kind of breaks up the routine. Your hair gets used to using certain types of products, and your hair doesn't really have time to figure out what works for it if you're always trying something different. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you're a product junkie and you keep buying new products, you might want to slow it down. Slow down. I just want to get to know you. Remember that. Remember that. That's how your hair feels about them products you're using, but you ain't letting it. Next, the products that you're using may have too many harsh chemicals in them, like alcohols or other things that are drying to the hair, that don't support nurturing and moisture and pH balance. Like, those things are really important. So if it makes your hair feel dry, either think about if it's actually a moisturizing product by looking at the label and doing some research. I'm always condoning research, because you can't just believe everything somebody tell you. Okay, so if somebody says something and it sounds like it makes sense, make sure you look it up to back up whether it's accurate. So yeah, another reason why you might not be retaining as much length as you probably could is that you are not patient with your tresses. You need to be patient so you don't be yanking your hair out. If you're yanking your hair out, it's besides the point, because why you want your hair to grow if you just don't yank it out? You fighting yourself for what? It ain't no point. So next time you're yanking through, woosah. Woosah. Take a few deep breaths. Go section by section. Finger detangle. Then comb or brush. have it. Number 4, you may not be using protective styles to your advantage. Protective styling is also about knowing how to keep your hair protected. Also, there are certain times of the year, well, any protective styling can be beneficial any time of the year, but there might be certain times of the year where it might be more beneficial for you. So hypothetically speaking, you might want to do less wash and goes during the summer because you might stay in a place where the humidity is high. That means that if your hair gets really frizzy, like some people's hair might not get as frizzy, but if your hair gets really frizzy and untamable, or you work out, or you know, something like that, it can really affect your hair more in the summer, especially with the humidity. So it might be more beneficial for you to do more protective styling in the summer. On the other hand, it can be very beneficial for a lot of people to do protective styling in the winter because it's cold, it's drier, there's less moisture in the air, and you want to keep your hair protected from drying out. What happens when your hair dry out? Friction, 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 snap, crackle, pop. And you want to avoid your hair doing that. So this is the point that I was making before, where there is another reason why your hair might not grow, and it might be due to genetics if it's not a skin condition. And when I say that, I mean that your hair may not grow as fast as someone else's because it's not built into your DNA to do that. Now, people's hair don't grow like at a super crazy rate. Most people's hair does not, but somebody's hair might grow 1.5 inches to 1 inch a month, but your hair might grow less, not 1.5 inches, 1/2 inch to 1 inch per month, but your hair might only grow up to 1/2 inch per month, and that could be because of your genetics. Also, your hair's life cycle may be shorter or longer than someone else's. So by that I mean that there are certain time periods where your hair grows, like up until the point of shedding, your hair is pretty much growing, but that life cycle could be 7 to 10 years, or it could be 5 years. Your hair might not grow at as fast of a rate as someone else's. Even if you believe you have the same porosity, the same hair type, use the same products, your hair is not going to be the same as the next person's, so it might not grow just as fast. And it's just kind of something that we have to accept. Every single product, even if we're doing every single thing right, genes play a factor in everything in our life, and sometimes it's just fighting against you, and that can be in regard to hair, it could be in regard to weight, it can be in regard to a lot of other things. So it's just about putting in the work, keeping your hair protected, and retaining the length that you do have in the time that your hair is not growing just as quickly, or in the time that the life cycle for that follicle has ended. So I'll say all that to say, stop comparing your hair to other people's and just mind your business. Use people as resources, but not as a comparison. Okay? Okay. 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 Let me just say, okay. Okay, I got you. I got you. I know you hear me. I know you hear me. Number 6, another reason why your hair might not be growing or might not be as healthy as it can be for you to retain a good amount of length. Your diet is trash. And I'm sure a lot of people's diet is trash. Like, that's just, especially in the United States, it's easier to get fast food than cook. And healthier foods are more beneficial. They have more vitamins, more minerals, more things that support your body. In my last video like this, I talked about biotin and how important biotin is. You can't get biotin from foods, but you have to eat certain things so that your body is hormonally balanced and able to absorb the types of nutrients that you are providing to it. If all you do is eat junk all the time, then you're gonna be junk. And there might be things that you can do to support the growth and health of your hair, just like you can support the health of your body the same way. To that point, hair is made of protein, so if you ain't get no protein, what your hair gonna do? Just like you need protein for your body, you need protein for your hair too. Number 7, you think your hair is invincible. and it's not. Your hair is not Elastigirl. She might bounce back sometimes, but she's not gonna always bounce back, okay? You have to make sure you're supporting your hair. You got to put in the work too, because the hair can only do but so much. It can only endure but so much. You have to put in the effort to protect your hair, and if you don't put in the effort to protect your hair, then what's it gonna do? Snap, snap, crackle, crackle, pop. Trust me, I know from experience, and it sucks. Another thing, you might have trouble with the growth and length retention because you're still following the LCO or LOC lock method, and you may not need to. Now, this method may work for a lot of people. I'm not against it. If it works for you, do what works for your hair, but make sure you're doing what is working for your hair. And sometimes oils can block moisture from getting into your hair. Sometimes oils can seal the moisture into your hair. Now, also, I don't know the complete science behind it, but I do know that oils just formulated as oils and oils formulated into products like butters and creams are two completely different types of things. So your hair may absorb them different ways. Actually, your hair don't just absorb oil, it just is a sealant. So if your hair is not properly moisturized before you add the oil, then you're not really, you might be sealing the water into your hair, but you might not be sealing the moisture. Water is hydration, products are moisture. So you need to make sure that you are doing what is beneficial for your hair. I don't really use oils that much anymore, maybe on my scalp from time to time, but honestly, not even then. Once my hair get dry, I wash it and that's that. But I mean, oils can be beneficial for stimulating the scalp. Some, you know, seeds and herbs and stuff can stimulate the scalp and blood flow and all of that. That might be beneficial for hair growth, but it's not the end all be all. You got to put in more work than that. Also, like I said, stylers, creams, and butters, gels have oils formulated and infused into them, so you don't really need to add an extra oil on top. It might not be necessary, but like I said, do what works for you. Okay, so remember what I was saying about always doing your research, even if what you know you believe what somebody's saying and they never stood you wrong. Always do your own research, because you need to make sure you're applying knowledge that you know. So don't be so quick to believe what all of these influencers are saying about how they grow their hair. Some of them I do believe are telling the truth about how they got their hair to a certain point. However, I never take their word as bond, because I don't know them, and some people are not as genuine as they seem, especially when they're getting these brand deals. And from what I've heard, a lot of brands want you to say certain things when you are being paid to promote their brand. So you can't really always believe wholeheartedly what they're saying. But when influencers are using brands that give them a little bit more freedom, then they're probably telling the truth more likely than not. Also, if you've been able to follow their hair journey, you might be more likely to believe the things that they're saying. But always, 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 always do your own research. No matter how much you believe what they're saying, do your own research so you actually know and understand how to apply what they're telling you. To piggyback off of that, reasons why you might be having trouble honing in on what you need is you might be absorbing information from too many different sources, and that could be influencers. For example, you could be watching videos, low porosity influencer versus a high porosity influencer. If you're high porosity, what works for a low porosity influencer isn't going to work for you the same way. So you need to be able to find people who have a similar porosity, density, and honestly, I would say length as you, because sometimes we get too focused on getting that length that other person has, the hair down their back, and they might be able to tell you how they got there, but it might be more realistic and less stressful for you to get healthier hair if you are following someone who's at a similar place as you are but has been working at it for longer than you. Maybe more beneficial to do that. That way there's less pressure. You don't put as much pressure on yourself as the community is already putting on you. Another reason why your hair might not be growing or retaining length is because you might be trying too many quick fixes. A perfect example of a quick fix is a protein deep conditioner. Honestly, deep conditioners are mostly formulated to provide moisture to the hair. They may have some protein, may benefit your hair temporarily, but deep conditioners are not built for long-term hair structure repair. Protein treatments are built for long-term hair structure repair. That's just an example. You just need to make sure that you are trying and using sustainable products so that you have a sustainable outcome, and you need to make sure that you're doing things that are realistic for you. So you need to find a balance, protein moisture balance, you know, or even things people try like rice water treatments, or it was something that was going around a few years ago where you put this like mixture on your hair and it would make your hair longer within like a day or something like that. But that's just like a temporary fix. It's making your hair more elastic so it stretches a little bit more, but that's just temporary. You need sustainability. And last but definitely not least, this is probably something that people do not pay attention to enough, and that is leaving your hair wet for too long, too many times back to back. And by that I mean not letting your hair dry quickly sometimes. So if you are somebody who lets your wash and go air dry all the time, it's different if you go outside and let it air dry, because in the summer the heat is going to dry it quicker. But if you're just lounging around the house, you don't have a fan on, you don't have a hooded dryer or anything just to even cut the time in half, the drying time in half, then your hair can get soggy. It can leave your hair open and prone to more breakage, and make your hair wear and tear quicker than what the normal wear and tear process would be if you just took an extra 10 to 15 minutes to make sure your hair was dry, or partially dry, or just dried it all the way with a hooded dryer, a blow dryer, which is what I use, or an attachment where you can put, I have one of these too, the attachment you can put on your blow dryer to give yourself a hood if you don't have space for a hooded dryer or something like that. So, you know, just making sure your hair dries quicker, making sure your hair is sealed will be a lot more healthier for your hair in the long run. But yeah guys, so that is all I have for you today. I hope these tips that I had, or you know, these, I don't even know if I would call them tips, but I mean they're kind of tips, but I just hope that what I was saying here was helpful for you today. You know, I'm just trying to give you things to think about, stimulate your mind, honey, you know, stimulate that blood flow to your brain. Maybe your hair might grow. But yes, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far and you are new here, you might as well go ahead and subscribe, because you like what you see. You must like what you see. But yes, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It'll let me know that you like and appreciate videos like this so that I can put them out more for you guys. And thank you so much for watching this video. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about me. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.